first one of this administration. And after so many wonderful, completely secure meetings of the last press conference we did, we decided to make this room PvP, non-PvP. So you can try killing each person here, but they will not die. So do a try that even. And we only have Sophia here from the press, I think, today. I don't think there's anyone else. That means that only Sophia has preference when it comes to questions. Now, I believe we have an opening statement for our president, and I'll give her the floor.
Thank you, jorinton. Good afternoon, Redmont, and welcome to the first presidential press conference of my administration. It's been nearly a month since I first took office, and my term so far has been highly eventful, as you all will know. I'd like to speak a little bit about how things have gone. With a full cabinet nominated and confirmed, 5 executive orders signed, and a great number of my initial campaign promises already fulfilled, I'm happy to say it's been a productive month. We have fixed the budget, we have raised government wages in many departments, we have lowered playtime requirements across the board, we've made meaningful town reform, and we've brought greater activity to almost all the departments. I have spent nearly every single day hard at work coordinating with my cabinet, with Congress, and with my party to make reforms that not only make good on the promises I was elected on, but also meaningfully improve the lives of average Redmontians. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the different issues that we've faced during my administration and how we've been handling them. First is the what I think we've been calling the financial crisis. As you all have seen, several different banks have been getting nationalized or commandeered during the past month. I want to make it as clear as possible that no institutions have been commandeered that weren't already in a state of actively failing. This is the government stepping in and taking action on institutions that have had structural issues, that have had reasons that they simply weren't going to work out, and people were going to lose millions of dollars. And we've stepped in and we've ensured that that things stop before they get to that point. We do have a plan to deal with this crisis in greater depth than we have currently. I know people are still waiting on the insurance payouts for most banks, but we are wanting to do things a little bit more in depth, and we've got a plan that we are going to be proposing to Congress once caretaker period ends, which I believe is tomorrow. Secondly, I want to take some time to address the DPA union debacle. I have a press release that I'm going to be releasing sometime in the next day or two that should address that issue in greater detail. But essentially, negotiations have sadly broken down, but I've been very proud of the work that my DPA secretary has done so far. And thirdly, I'd like to just quickly address the change in my cabinet recently. Former DOE Secretary Asexual Dinosaur resigned, seems to be taking a step back from DC as a whole. I have nominated Inza as the next DOE Secretary and she's already the acting secretary, and I'll be nominating her in full once caretaker period ends. I have been a big fan of her work in the archivist department and in the wiki so far, and I'm excited to see what she does with the department in full. With that out of the way, that's all that I wanted to address initially, and I believe we're going to move on to press questions.
It is so. So anyone who's got a question, type it in chat, and I will read it out loud so that we can hear that on our stage, and the president will answer them. Preferably type it in game chat, but you can also do stage VC chat. So there's one question from Amity Blamity. What's your opinion of Toad King's use of an early 2000s internet meme?
I don't think I know the internet meme you're talking about.
Neither do I.
Did you
No
not see his
comment.
campaign video?
I saw the campaign video, the one that was him fighting 1950. I thought it
I
was
thought we were just talking
hilarious,
about that one. I loved that video.
but I don't know the specific early 2000s internet meme.
All credits to Eat B for that beautiful, beautiful campaign video, by the way.
I think we need more interesting, fun campaigns like that.
There's a question from Sophia and her press agency. How dire is the state of the banking sector?
It's difficult. There are still several active, stable banks. Volt, BOR, DNB, Cobblestone are some of the bigger ones. But I mean, I'll be honest, it's highly unstable right now. The initial collapse of Vanguard led to something of a domino effect. And while we've stepped in and stabilized things for the moment, there were lots of structural issues, even sometimes down to just accounting errors, sort of widespread in the sector. And a lot of it had to do with the complete lack of regulation and the inaction from previous administrations and Congresses in preserving that sector. And we're now just seeing the long-term effects of them. And we're trying to navigate the situation as much as we can. We're trying to prioritize depositors' money's safety as much as we can.
There is a question from Senator Dog Theory. How will you compete with Toad's campaign video?
Could you repeat the question?
How will you compete with Toad's campaign video?
It'll be difficult. I mean, I've never fist fought 1950. I'm not a defender of liberty, so maybe I'll just collapse. It could happen.
They also asked a question before that one. What wages were increased? Sorry, I missed it.
Wages in several different departments have been increased. The DOJ wages, I believe, are in the process of being increased. The DHS wages have been increased. DOH have as well, and most of these are moving towards commission-based wages. So people are getting paid for the work they actually do, rather than paid whether they're active or not. So the more hardworking members of the department are able to make as much money as they can.
So a question from Megaminer M. Why isn't our president living in the same conditions as us? And then I will go to Real M's question, who asked the question on stage.
I am living in the Oval Office. I guess that's. I'm not sure what living conditions I should be living in, but I think I've lived a pretty humble lifestyle, even despite being a business owner in the past. I lived in suburban Oak Ridge, but yeah.
The Oval Office is really, really nice to live in. Well, I don't live in the actual Oval Office. The government house in general is lovely to live in, but it does make you
don't live in the office.
A total target for assassinations. So it does kind of have a trade-off.
That's very true. Also, your part of it is completely unfinished and has small fries in it, which is a pretty detriment.
It's pretty brutal.
If I may enter into the answer.
Absolutely.
Just as a political scientist, it's because offices with residencies build states, and states actually with proper statehood actually function better than, say, Slovakia, where the president lives wherever he pleases. Ilm's question is, what is the administration planning on doing with towns? Are you planning on doing anything significant? Also, will there be meetings with towns? Question mark.
We have already enacted various different town reform. I signed the new Towns Rights EO, which is different in name from Bezers because I put an apostrophe after towns. But that changed a couple different things, mainly about how elections work in towns. You can no longer hold a bunch of You can no longer hold office in multiple towns. You have to actually have residency, not only to run, but also to vote. And we've already seen the effects of that in, for example, the Oak Ridge election, where things were much more competitive. It wasn't just the largest party coming in and sweeping everything because everyone was changing their residency, because we also had the change where it's I believe, a 3-week cooldown to change your residency. And that being done, of course, against my own party's interests, because I believe in free and fair elections. I am hoping to further support our towns in whatever ways I can. I've not had meetings with the mayors yet, but that would honestly be a pretty good idea that I will consider.
Question from Sophia. She has preference, so I'll get to the other questions later. How is the government working on the issue that we get near constant pandemics?
Better funding and more employees in the DOH. We're also I support, but won't be able to personally, in my capacity as the president, make the change to have Medicare just be automatic during pandemics, because that would having to make the choice between Medicare or not is obviously a little bit inconvenient when it's a cure every couple of seconds. We're also making sure the DOI is having the DOH fully stocked, and I believe there's been some issues with like settings being incorrect in the past from like a staff perspective that have caused issues with pandemics that I think have now been fixed. But yeah, just more rational DOH policy, more efficient, and coordination between the departments.
There was a question from Amity Blamity. Will the executive commit to live streaming a playthrough of Imam Musume Pretty Derby?
No.
There's a question from Kato. Is Katzenard going to get $1 million for no reason?
No.
Question from Real Imza. Question: Aventura or Oak Ridge?
Long live Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge forever.
Question from Grapeel Juice. Do you love the city you live in?
In Redmont? Redmont's pretty nice. Yeah, sure.
Question from was it Diabloco? They're called now Sit the Fuck Up, so I'm not sure. But why are your eyes red? Do you get enough sleep?
I have a clinical condition known as vampirism. It's very serious.
Nice. Better Call Pigeon asks, can we have a PvP battle after the press conference ends?
Sure.
Mega Miner asks why he is homeless when you live in a mansion.
Mega Miner has 7 plots. Sorry. Don't worry about that question.
You're not homeless. But hey, I tell you what, we're working to lower plot prices, and we're working to decrease homelessness in Redmont. So to anyone else who is actually homeless, we got your back.
They're also asking whether can people pay police officers to take care, in quotation marks, of other people?
Can people? I don't think so. I believe that'd be corruption and against DHS policy.
Once again, Sophia's preference, so her question before Real Emza again. Will the government turn the roads into a darker shade of gray/black? Why is the government expanding the fairgrounds? Little Russia has recently shrunken by the entire roads due to this.
On the first question, I don't think we have any plans for turning the roads into a darker shade of gray or black, but that would be probably a better question for Endeavor, the DCT secretary. I believe he would have jurisdiction over that. In regards to the second question, why is the government expanding the fairgrounds? The government is not expanding the fairgrounds per se. It's just the borders are being slightly touched up. I am sorry to hear that Little Russia had to be shrunk a little bit, but it is a massive it is a massive bunch of plots. So I think I am hoping Vernisha will live.
Relime's asking, does this mean you support Oak Ridge independence?
I do not support Oak Ridge independence. Oak Ridge is Redmont, but also long live Oak Ridge.
Okay. So another question from Grapier Juice. Can you put them in your will?
You know what? I'll throw your name in there if I ever make one. I can't promise you that you're going to get anything, but your name will be in there.
Make them the executor. That will make them really, really, really a question their choice of question afterwards. So once again, Yabolko is asking whether you're evil.
No comment at this time.
Real Imes is asking whether they can get a room in the Brown House.
If you work for the executive, you can. If you work for the president's office.
Toad King is asking, why did the president accept a 250,000 bribe to pardon an individual through an executive order?
I want to clarify. I pardoned Casey because she killed me. And I thought it was really funny. That was the main reason that I pardoned her.
Our Attorney General Gribble is asking whether you have any job openings in the president's office.
Currently, eventually we probably will have a job opening for a NWO director, but the timeline on that is unclear. Otherwise, if you believe you would be if anyone believes they would be a good executive advisor and they have reason to show that they would be have meaningful advice to give the president's office, then my DMs are always open. Hit me up.
So Rory is asking whether you have any plans for a cabinet meeting soon.
I would like to have cabinet meetings. I would like to have them in game. I have just been incredibly busy in real life recently, and it has been difficult to organize them. They've been put a little bit on the back burner, but I've made sure I'm communicating with my cabinet as much as possible. But yeah, I'd love to have more formal meetings. Juniper says she too would like a cabinet meeting.
Whether the government will try and squeeze more plots into Revell. The space shuttle launch site is never used and doesn't serve a purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. The DCT recently did take some larger plots and make them into smaller plots and sell them off. Those plots sold for very low, which we were happy to see. Overall, reducing prices, and if it seems like it'd be a good realistic thing to do, then we might look at creating even more plots. But I do want to avoid unnecessarily destroying like some of the nicer things in Ravale as much as the plot crisis is a real issue. It's also, nice to have amenities in the city and fun things to explore around.
Realimes is asking whether they can be the janitor. If so, can they be given a janitorial office?
Yes.
EATB is asking the same.
Also, yes. Janitors for everyone.
Realimes is asking, how long do you spend daily in the VD room?
In the which room?
The VD room, like.
The only time I spent any time in the weed room is when I was being hunted down by a number of assassins, and I holed up in there with Gui and Doge and Eatbee, and I want to say one or two other people. That was the only time I spent in the weed room when I was protecting myself.
I will be keeping the weed room as is, no matter what the president says. That is my mandate as vice president. Thank you.
The education secretary ends us asking, "What level of empire are you?" And it's very
The
important.
whatever the highest level is, I'm very powerful.
Better Call Pigeon is asking, "What are your stances on the recent news that some members of our community are trying to have legal designer buffs? Citizens are worried, and some might be addicted."
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that question a little slower?
Honestly, I have no idea what they're asking either. What are your stances on the recent news that some members of our community are trying to have legal designer buffs? Citizens are worried, and some might be addicted.
I don't believe buffs are currently. Uh, yeah, I don't believe buffs are currently implemented. I guess you could theoretically do them through like patents. That might be what you're referring to, but I've not heard of that. So if you have a concern, my DMs are always open.
I'm just asking whether you are planning a presidential address to Congress.
I would like to have at least one presidential address to Congress during my term, probably during the next congressional term. I'd like to see if I can organize one if it'll work out with time zones.
Kate was asking whether they can become the office of presidential meal taster.
Sure.
Multiman is asking why the DOC had communications issues lately, whether there are principal actors that are inactive in the DOC.
The DOC has been massively overworked by the financial crisis, with banks failing left and right, with dealing with a bunch of different issues behind the scenes. I've been talking to them basically every day. If they've had communications issues, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. They are constantly, especially the secretary and deputy secretaries, are constantly having to go back and forth between talking to a million different people. So I encourage everyone to have some patience with the DOC. They're handling this issue incredibly well.
Um, Grape Your Juice is asking, how do you feel the congressional election is going to turn out?
I mean, I'm hopeful. Obviously, I'll respect whatever the results are, but within my party, am happy to say that I've worked on getting the coalition between WPR, the party, and a couple independents together. I'm hoping that through that we can work together for further progress in our legislative branch, but I'm prepared and ready to work with anyone that's elected to Congress by the people.
Amity Blamity is asking whether you source your blood locally or have it shipped in.
Locally is best.
Multiman is asking whether those who defended you in the weed room are going to be given generous bonuses.
I did give them generous bonuses, actually. I think I paid most of them a portion of the bounty that got split between me and Casey.
EATB, what are your administration plans regarding Voyager, the exchange, and other financial institutions with liquidity issues? Would you authorize the FRB printing $50 million, causing more inflationary pressure?
We are trying to limit inflation or limit printing as much as we reasonably can during this whole debacle. But I mean, I'll be honest, it would be difficult to get through this and preserve depositor money without some amount of printing. But I've been in contact with the FRB governor and the DOC secretary and a number of members of my cabinet. And as I said, we have a more in detail plan that we're going to be presenting not only to Congress, but to the general public very soon, the details of which are currently classified, so I can't go into a ton of detail right now.
Sophia is asking whether the government will try and institute negative gearing.
I'm not certain I know what that is.
Neither do I really. Realize
Juniper, do you know what that is?
I was yapping. What are we talking about?
What is negative
Sophia's-
gearing?
Negative gearing? Gearing.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't know what negative gearing is. I'm so sorry.
Toke King says
Well-
negative gearing means borrowing to invest, as when you take an investment loan, your property is geared. It happens when the costs of owning a rental property exceed the rent that you return. We don't have any we don't have any plans to implement that at the time, no.
So Relimes is asking, what is your opinion of the Alexandrian government?
Me and the Darton Boy administration or the Darton Boy government and the SC do have pretty different stances on a lot of different political issues. But I've been happy to be able to work with them, and especially Deputy Prime Minister Ethan, on a number of different international treaties and international cooperation. And I've also talked to their foreign affairs minister pretty extensively about deepening our international relations and establishing different programs between our two countries. So while I do disagree with them politically on a lot of different issues, I'm happy to say that we have a lot of common ground.
Toad King, if the DOC is having issues, why has it not hired more staff to assist with the department? There are currently 7 pending applications, with 2 recently denied. It seems the DOC is forcing itself to overwork.
There are valid concerns to be had about the organization structure in the DOC. I have personally pushed for them to delegate more work to subordinates, but often the work that the DOC is doing right now can only really be done by like the higher level officials. There's obviously there's administrative work, and there is number crunching, and there's plenty of different things that can be done by lower level employees, but hiring a new person isn't an easier task. And I think Juniper also mentioned, the insane amount of work that Avanish and his team have been doing. You always feel free to reach out about applications if you've applied to the DOC. But yeah, I think they should be granted some leeway. They're doing great.
So, a question from Sophia again. What will the government change regarding Willow?
We've already put Willow under the jurisdiction of the DOI through the Willow District EO. And we've seen pretty good progress from Winterwolf and the DOI in regards to Willow. We've seen a lot of development. We're looking at I think our campaign policy document had some pretty extensive details of what we're going to be doing with Willow, but there are going to be some more supporting EOs and DOI policies regarding things like new player farm plots and agricultural business districts. We're going to be bringing back some of the structures in the Willow Town Center. We're hoping to see it developed as much as possible.
What's your favorite member of office by Frostify?
My favorite member of the executive office is Juniper Fig.
Thank you. My favorite member of the executive office is Kaiserin.
Hooray!
Is the Department of State and your administration planning on hiring diplomatic staff to send to the Kingdom of Alexandria by Real IMSA?
No, we are not at the current time planning on that, but that is something I can certainly look into. That might make foreign relations handling a little bit easier.
Multiman is asking whether the government will consider a merger of Willow and Aventura under a multi-capital town.
I don't think we are considering that at the very moment. No, that's not something that's been brought up.
I think that's all the questions we have. Oh,
All right.
there's calls asking whether there will be a Redmond embassy in Alexandria anytime soon.
A Redmont embassy in Alexandria, I am not certain. I've not seen anything to that end, but I do believe we now have an Alexandrian embassy in Redmont.
We do. It's like just across the street or something.
Yeah, so get on it, Alexandria.
Another question by Real Imza. Who is your favorite Alexandrian counselor?
Angry Hand Dog. And then Isma. Imza. Whatever your name is.
I agree with whatever she said.
Sophia is asking, what is the president's personal opinion on alternative ways of electing senators? Regional allocation, voting systems, class systems, etc.
My personal opinion is that I would support an STV system in the Senate, staying with our current two-class system. I would not support regional allocation because I think there's not enough differences between the material conditions, like between different areas to warrant anything like that. But yeah, I support STV in Senate.
Multi-Man is asking, what are your views on a government-sponsored official money changer for Alexandrian pounds?
Yeah, we have discussed that with Alexandria. It's not something that's currently up on our priorities list by any means, but it's something we would be considering, probably through the FRB if we did it.
I'm sorry, I went Yabolko, but I almost said EATB. They are asking whether you support nuclear weapons.
No.
Keita is asking, who's your favorite current town mayor?
That's a really hard decision. You can't make me choose that. I can't choose that. Anime and Roy are both very good at their job.
As your press advisor, I would advise you to not to not answer that question.
I'm not answering that question.
Multi-Man is asking, when will you create the Department of Burning trash pit? I think next time when we do this, I will not read you funny meme questions.
But they
Very
make it so
soon,
personable.
Multi-Man.
I'm pretty sure Vanguard did that for us.
True.
So Yabolko is following up on their nuclear weapons question. Why do you not support nuclear weapons? What if Alexandria gets them before we do?
That's a very good point. Maybe we should consider like a preemptive invasion of Alexandria, just in case they get nuclear weapons in the future. Let's look into that.
I would not say this.
Oh my goodness. What do you think, June?
I think that I don't want nuclear war. I think that would be bad.
Boring.
I know. I'm sorry. Nuclear weapons scare me. I think about radiation like too much. Freaky.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, fine. Whatever my VP says, she's the shadow president anyways.
So Relimes is asking whether you like the Hamilton play. If so, do you support creating a play called Angry Hamilton Dog?
I am a Hamilton superfan. I have seen Hamilton so many times, and I got to see it on Broadway like a month ago, and I was so excited. And I would support that. That would be wonderful.
Okay. So if no one asks another question, I think we're at an end. I'll give them like a minute. So if you have any questions, roll it out because we're going to be anonymous. Okay, Sophia is asking whether an invasion of Alexandria would be even possible. 80% of the people interested in joining armies for that would join both armies.
I don't even know how it would work. But I'm sure if that was something people wanted, we could do it. But I'm not actually currently looking at that now.
I fear Alexandria has been like a very, very kind and helpful partner in foreign affairs so far. There's really no reason to declare war other than like a "we're better than you" sort of deal.
Yeah.
And they also don't have guns. It would be a total slaughter. They're still fighting with swords over there. They don't even have pastes. They hardly have a government. We could not go ransack Alexandria. It would be unethical and unkind.
As
It's
the
not
person
happening.
running, I would once again advise you not to cause a diplomatic incident.
I love Alexandria. I don't want to.
I'm really good friends with their high chancellor, so I think I'll be able to smooth things over.
Uh-huh.
Ivolka is asking, how about biological weapons? Judging by the recent epidemics, they could be effective and easy to deploy.
Effective and easy to deploy. Man, I guess I'll have to consider it now.
That is actually a really good point.
Is that?
I feel like we need to make laws against biological weapons now.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm all for just making a personal law for, I'm not sure what the guy was called who was going about and driving disease everywhere, but I just personally call it like his name law. Just banning everything related to epidemics and making it like the harshest thing to treat, because that was so annoying. I've like not been annoyed in a long time like that.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-man, will the government entertain patented disease-causing agents?
I don't think I would support that, no, but that would be under DOE jurisdiction.
Right. So no more questions? I mean, we're almost an hour into this thing. It's 45 minutes. But I think Sophia is typing something. Will the government support public executions for people who intentionally spread diseases? I am against the death penalty, but personally, for Moon, yeah.
Here's my thing about the death penalty is regardless of like real life ethics or whatever, they just respawn. Like public executions would do like nothing other than maybe be like a funny event.
Yeah, just like a funny event, having a public execution. People count to laugh at that. I mean, that's very human, actually.
I actually do
fun.
think public executions could be a really fun way to like get justice. But I don't know if it would be really feasible to like work that in with the whole constitution and the rights that we have. So
yeah, people do have a right to life, I think. So
I guess we could like turn murder consent on.
Oh, true. Well, they would have to consent to it, I guess.
Okay.
Yes, to public executions if the person being executed consents.
Yeah, only if they consent.
That's a rational. That's rational. Multi-man is asking, what are your opinions on trial by combat? Is it a relic of the past or something for the future?
I want more trial by combat.
I love trial by combat.
I'm fully in support of trial by combat. Not only is it cool as hell, but also it reduces workload on the DOJ. So
and the judiciary.
And the judiciary, yes.
So
it's also just very funny.
Exactly.
Someone doing a bachelor thesis on this server, it would just become a chapter in it, just like
the rise of trial by combat.
So you have three main judicial systems: the common law, the Napoleonic Code, and then trial by combat, democracycraft.
Oh my god, that is the fastest.
No, he had it somewhere.
Oh, he already had it. Here. Oh, exactly. I was baffled. I was, holy cow. I could have.
It's a good bill. It's a good bill. Okay. So no more questions? Or?
I think that might be it.
I think that might be it. I missed a follow-up from Sophia. Will their head be put on a spike in front of Spawn?
Whose head? What was this follow up to?
Be executed.
Yeah, the execution thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would only be natural if we do public executions.
I feel like we have to donate it to the head museum after.
The new player joins, just spikes everywhere, just like the real life Dracula, Ivan the something.
Yes, Vlad Dracula.
Yeah, Vlad. Sorry, not Ivan. That was a Russian guy. If you had to buy real Imza, which town would you remove, Oak Ridge or Aventura?
Aventura, because I live in Oak Ridge, and I'm biased.
Same. I was just like thinking that I have an apartment there. I'm censoring you right now. Right. Any more questions? Anyway, several people are typing. Okay.
Oh wow.
I don't think that's a question. That is a question.
Will the
That's
government
not a
turn
question.
Willow and Aventura into nuclear craters to show that Oak Ridge is the best? By Sophia.
No. That'd be a question you can ask GER maybe.
I mean, I guess they would be in favor of it.
Right.
Right. 1 more minute for questions, if there are any. I feel like I said that like 4
Next
times
question is the last question
already. Okay.
Yes.
that will be officially answered. I may answer questions without the official stamp on them later.
Well,
Wow.
I was about to say like we have 10 minutes until we're an hour into this.
Are you in a rush? We're answering questions for our citizens. This is like
I'm just saying. I'm just
one
trying.
I'm just
So the last question is, why is this the last question?
pretty sure the
That's
last
a really
question
good
was
question.
actually, Kai, after the end of the conference, can we all take turns killing you just for fun?
I'm not seeing a question
This
mark
question-
on that,
oh,
so
I
it doesn't
didn't
count.
realize that.
Oh, that's a good point. Wow. Why didn't I think of that?
That's a statement, actually.
We made you the president for a reason, didn't we?
Yeah. Gui, this is the last question because Jorinton has to go eat a kebab.
Mm.
No, I've used
Kebab.
my dry frying thing, which I bought today, which was on sale at like 30 something %. I used it for chicken salsa and something, and feta cheese, which burned because I'm dumb and I put it on the top of it. I'm happy today, but we may get kebab like in a week with friends. So I think,
Amazing.
guys, that's a wrap, considering that was the last question. And we thank you all for coming.
Yes, thank you
will
for
try to
being
make
here.
this periodical. And if the person has something to say as a closing statement, I'll let her do it.
No, I haven't prepared a closing statement. Thank you all for coming. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna try and do more like Jorinton said. And I am seeing that Toad has placed a $50,000 bounty on me, but you can't get it if I just log off. So
You should just stay here. You should just stay here and let people hit you in the non-PvP area just to frustrate.
And
very true.
I believe I promised anybody in the audience a job as a janitor. If you want to follow me, just so that I know all of your names, can you please stop trying to kill me? That would be great, and then I know who I hired. I will now be ending the stage VC. Thank you guys all again for being here.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
We
for
love
coming.
you. We mean it.